He won the 50-50.
There we go.
Made it, Joe, perfect.
Wow, you
Becky, great picture.
I closed my
You're actually,
library at 7 o'clock.
you're actually a minute, no, now we're good.
Oh, okay, good.
Becky,
Here.
Caldwell,
Here.
Farcapisi,
Here.
Ketman,
Wow. Look at this one.
Katsinis,
Here.
Linsdale,
Here.
Sutton, absent. We have a quorum.
Okay. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Warren Newport Public Library District provides the community with access to information, kindles the imagination of children and adults, and supports lifelong learning. Any public comment?
I just have one quick thing. I just want to let you guys know that starting April 7th, we are having a new, starting April 1st, we have a new bookmobile schedule, but they're going to be at Jewel every Saturday for like an hour and a half.
I saw that.
And they're really promoting it from within. We gave them a gazillion of these, and they're handing them out to all their customers.
Oh,
so
great.
that's going to be something kind of new and exciting. Thank you.
That is great.
Okay. Any
We don't have correspondence from legal counsel, but we have this one for the board.
Oh. Is this from me? I have the station here. Oh, cool. That's great. Thank you, Jan. Okay. Anyone need to take anything off the consent?
Yeah, I'd like to remove GI.
I'm sorry?
GI.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, can we have a motion on this then?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstain. Okay. All right, 516. Someone want to make a motion for that?
I move we adopt 516 computer and email usage as presented.
I'll second that. Discussion?
I'd like to make a motion to remove it and send it back to policy.
Would you like to explain why?
Yeah, I would. I think back about previous boards where there were some really large requests. I'm thinking about wanting to put automatic doors on our bathrooms. I'm thinking about wanting to knock a door in the north building. And I'm thinking about wanting to put power stations for electric cars in our parking lot. All these were very extensive requests. And all of these were expensive and time-consuming. And so I kind of think about that first when I lead into my request here. I also want you to think about how many times I have brought back a policy for discussion, number one, and then remove it from the agenda to have further discussion. When have I ever done that? So obviously there's something in there that I think is really important that needs to be addressed again. Now, I'm not asking for power stations in the parking lot. I'm not asking for automatic doors in the bathroom. I'm asking for a consideration of another 5 or 10 minutes to look at this policy again and review it. I'm not asking that much. But obviously, if I am asking, I feel it's really important, and I do have my reasons. And so that's all I'm asking. Let's send it back to policy so we can review it.
Which policy?
It's the computer and email usage policy.
516.
Page 19.
The one that was at our desks when we came in.
This blue one. Yeah.
This might be your copy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just, I probably should have said this, but I noticed when I was reading my packet that the dates on these review dates should have been changed to the 27th, so these, did you say this before I got here?
I know, I did not.
Okay, so this blue packet is the same policy that's in the, I mean, this blue set of papers is the same policy that's was in our packet, but it says the 27th instead of the 20th, and that's what we just voted on. I should have said
Okay.
that before.
Okay.
So I can't remember, if you could refresh our memories, what was the thing you wanted added to this policy that we discussed at committee of the whole?
It was regarding employees' usage of the internet.
You know, I thought that was this other policy that we put on
It's under, internet usage is
under new
under.
business.
Yeah.
Is that under new business?
Yes, we put it there because we thought you
Okay,
would
so
not want to vote for it.
my mistake. So
Okay.
I can save my little discussion and do it all over again
Well, we'll
since I
just
practiced?
keep it in mind for when we get there. I'm sorry.
Because I didn't see it in there, so my apologies.
Okay, yeah, we moved it there for that reason,
Okay.
because we knew that you didn't like how the
Well, as Rosanna
consensus.
always said, never mind.
Okay.
That was Emily Latella, by the
Or
way.
was it?
Okay, so we have a motion to vote to approve 516 as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Okay. President's report, page 21. Questions, comments, concerns? Other people have reports?
Well, I was the board, I think I was the only board member at being on the book, so I feel like I
Yeah,
should
please.
give a report.
I
So
heard that you wore many baskets.
I was a big winner. Our table didn't win any bingo games, so, but we did win a lot of baskets. I think we won 7.
Oh my
And
gosh.
8 people at a table, right?
Yeah, I
Wow.
won 4 and Diana won 3.
Wow.
So, but I won my big basket I really wanted, which was the basket from the children's department with all of these great books and like the bunny that was in the bed for the Goodnight Moon book. So I have delivered that to my client and his 2 daughters, for his 2 daughters. One that was born the Thursday before, the day before. And her name is Lila. Lila and Ava will enjoy the books. I kept the wine. I kept the $50 gift certificate Barnes and Noble because it's just there's a point where it's too much and it looks like too much. But like they got all the books. My husband has got the wine. What else did I win? Oh, and I won something with Ryan.
And Joan Wiltz.
And
the-
Joan Wiltz.
The first head librarian of Warren Newport Public Library, yes.
And
A
so-
tour.
We'll
Tour
get a
and tea.
tour
Mhm.
and tea with them, and I've invited Diana Vickery to join me because I was sitting at her table, and
Cool.
my mother was there too, so it was a nice little mother-daughter. We were Laverne and Shirley. Our table didn't win. We were sitcom stars, but
Have you ever met Joan Wills?
not yet.
When I got out of library school, she wasn't here anymore. She was at Waukegan and head of reference, and she was my first boss, and she's a fabulous person and librarian. You'll really like her.
I'm looking forward to it, but we're not going to have that until like June.
That's fine, yeah.
I got lots
Your-
of plans
your
for
call.
June. So the what's the head of our security? Eddie. Eddie did a great job with his jokes and calling the numbers, but he pulled very bad numbers.
My table won nothing. We got a consolation prize for buntinis.
Were you there?
No, I was sick.
Okay.
But
Who
my
got the
table
best
was there,
table and
so
the best
Yes.
got
costumes?
nothing.
But the food was good. The wine, everything was great. We were down a little bit, so we've got some. And maybe we should keep with a consistent day, or I think we talked about some
Yeah.
ideas last time around. But it was a great time, and
Cool.
I encourage other people to go. I think prizes go to height. The more height your table has, the better the prizes.
Okay.
There That's funny.
But, as we know, Jan won our
Yeah,
basket.
Is it nice?
Oh, basket.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And I did the same thing. I
Didn't you wrap the
kept the
basket?
wine.
Did you put the basket together?
No,
Oh,
Laura
I thought
did.
you did.
I kept the wine and the olive oil, which my husband grabbed right away, and the coffee and stuff like that, and shared the books, just like you did, because they were all so beautiful.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Make the cake, the chocolate.
Who got the best costumes?
It was
The trolls.
It's in here.
Balding
Yeah.
The teachers again?
Yeah, they're
They are like a
Problem with it
juggernaut.
being the teachers. I have
Oh,
a problem with it being the
Pretty good.
Spalding teachers.
That is hilarious.
A little rivalry, huh?
A lot of writing.
Okay, anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you to John from Children's Services for all of the wonderful story times that he does. I know he's finally retiring and moving on.
He is?
Yeah, John
Yeah.
With
Bousselay.
the
Yeah.
guitar?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wow, he's old enough to retire?
He's a teacher, he retired from that a while ago.
Oh, he
Yeah.
seems really young.
His last day is Saturday.
Yeah.
My kids would like you to know that they will miss his guitar playing and his storytelling.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I have to
He's
tell
great.
my kids too. They went to his story times and listened to him play the guitar.
All right. Committee reports? 23 through 25?
Didn't I give my report?
Anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan's report, anything for him? You have anything to add?
I've got a lot.
Oh, okay.
Well, so bingo, just to add, if you don't know, Laura Stone, who is our volunteer coordinator, also our fundraising coordinator, she is the one that organizes that and puts it together. It's a lot of help from a lot of volunteers, a lot of staff, but Laura is the project manager of that, and she did a phenomenal job again. So great
did.
thanks to Laura Stone. And so all the other people that were involved. And the board basket was excellent. It was one of the top, top third, I think, of baskets in terms of raffle tickets. So well done.
Yay.
Cool.
Well done. In terms of what revenue, we're still trying to get the final numbers, but it looks like we grossed about $5,500. Taking away expenses, not counting personnel, the net revenue is about $4,300. So we're only down $371 from last year, considering we sold 6 fewer tables. That's pretty good. I think one of the things with bingo is that it doesn't raise a ton of money. It's not like a big gala where you're raising hundreds of thousands of dollars, but our core supporters tell us time and time again they always attend and they love the event. So even if we're not raising big money, I think there's some other value there as well. And there's that idea of cultivating those relationships and reinforcing that relationship with the library. So I think there's still value to continue bingo. So we're planning again. We're going to push it back to April after Easter.
Good.
So hopefully that will
You
help.
don't run into
Yeah.
spring break.
Yeah, we don't run into
Yeah.
spring break. So that's the bingo report.
Can we do some way to, like, say it's always going to be the fourth Friday in April so that people can put it on their calendars, like as a repeating appointment and.
Yeah. That's one of the things we talked about in the after action is having that regular time. Just make sure it's after Easter.
I was going to say,
You
you
know,
have to make sure.
so we have to
Well,
figure out-
Easter
Yeah, they put it on
can,
Easter.
Easter changes.
It can be
Easter
Pretty
is always the first Sunday after the vernal equinox. For the
According
first
to the
the
Julian
first
calendar.
Sunday after the first Sunday after the first full moon after the vernal equinox.
As observed in Jerusalem
So-
or Rome or Constantinople, based on the Julian calendar. So you practically need a
What is
Ouija
So
board.
the
latest it
latest
could
it
ever
could be is if the vernal equinox falls on March 21st, because it can never fall on March 22nd.
But it's
And
about
then
March
it's
21st.
28 days after that, for, up to a full moon comes every 28 days, 29 days. And then the Sunday
I can't believe
following
you
it.
know.
So like basically
It
like
can be
the
up to the second week in May, if you're wondering.
Oh, well, that's maybe too late.
Just because of there's 15 days that were accidentally removed from the calendar.
Okay, so
Back in the Middle Ages.
it's
but what-
possible
yeah.
to figure out the window.
But what we can do is we can announce that a year. I mean, there's no reason we
Yeah.
can't know a year in
Yeah,
advance.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at the end of bingo, join us in April,
7:30
whatever,
people.
2019.
Mark your calendars
So
for
so we can
blah,
certainly do
blah,
that
blah. Right.
if nothing else.
And I think
So.
we can make that whole thing a little shorter than the vernal equinox.
And how many days were subtracted from the calendar?
How do I
Something.
know this? I always wondered my whole life, and then when I found out, I was like, oh. So, but usually you're okay with the fourth Friday of April.
You have anything else you want to say about your report?
No, yeah, a couple
Yeah,
of things.
please press on.
One of them, speaking of departures, this is bittersweet news, and I'll tell you why I say it's bittersweet. Jan Marsh is leaving as head of communications.
And
But the good news is she is going to stay on
She has
as
a big smile on her face,
part-time special projects coordinator.
Oh.
And we have an internal candidate that is going to take the head of communications position. That's Sandy Beta. So Sandy Beta is going to move from
Wow.
that role into head of communications. And Sandy, if you don't know, has a background in marketing, so she's really a fantastic fit. So it's kind of it's bittersweet because I really enjoyed working with Jan so closely as head of communications, and she's phenomenal. I think you all know that. I think the whole board knows that. But we don't entirely lose her. We get to keep her part time, and the special project she's going to help with. Really, she's going to help with a lot of the things that are in the strategic plan, a lot of the action items that we haven't tied up. So hopefully we'll be able to keep Jan as long as we can in this role, but I don't think it's going to be forever, unfortunately. We'll keep working on it. But,
So does that mean Sandy will be sitting in that chair soon?
correct?
Next month.
Or possibly?
Yes. So it's Friday, April 6th, and I don't know if you want to say anything else, Jan, if you would say, because Jan's going to take a little time off and then come back. But
I'm gonna take, I've got 2 daughters, one in California and one in Wisconsin, and so I'm gonna do some traveling and take a second honeymoon to Scotland in July.
wow.
So that's where my mind is right now.
Sure.
But it's
Congratulations.
been 26 years of it's just a wonderful, nobody ever wants to leave this place because it's such a great place to work, and the leadership and the board is a big part of that, so.
And
Thank
Jan
you for
created
supporting
this
me.
position.
I did, I wrote my own job description, so, 26 years ago. So, thank you for all the support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
What else?
The other thing, in terms of the strategic plan progress report, some of the things I can point when we get to them, because part of it ties into the strategic plan update, safety and security. So I don't know if you want me to wait until then, or if there are any questions about the strategic plan progress report. I guess I will point out. Actually, 2 more things. I'm sorry, a little all over the place. I had with Eddie Christon, who's our head of security. He was out when I was putting the final touches on the executive director's report, and it turns out the statistics at that point were not on the shared drive. So I have them, and we've fixed that so this won't happen again. So these are the safety and security statistics.
Okay.
And with the progress report for the strategic plan, it's color coded, so it gives you a better idea of where we are with projects. So green means they are complete, blue means they are partially complete or well in progress, and then yellow means we're early on in the progress or we haven't started. I think most of the action items we've started. So a lot of the yellow items are some of the fundraising things, goals. One of the things that I wanted to point out that we talked about in the strategic plan is staff engagement, doing a study to examine reasons for staff turnover, developing a strategy for retaining staff. Management Association will do a staff engagement survey, and there's a pretty hefty cost to that. So when we talk about the budget, that's one of the things we'll talk about next week. Is the idea if that's something that we want to proceed, if that's worth the cost or not. Then on page 4, pretty much page 4 through 6, the action items that came out of the survey we did with staff. These are the safety and security action items. So those are new. A lot of them, though, we've at least half of them we've tackled already, and then we're working on this, and this will also be discussed in the budget as well. Explore on page 5, exploring the addition of a device or software for staff that work in public areas that can be used to alert security of problem issues or situations. That will be in the initial budget for the board to discuss. And then taking steps to ensure bookmobile safety. That's also something that will be addressed in the budget. So I think those are the things I wanted to point out.
Questions?
Looks like a lot when you put it all in one place.
Any other comments, concerns? Okay, Gina has pointed out to me that we did not have a motion for secretary pro tem, since
Oh.
Bonnie is missing.
Good point.
So,
Does anybody want to raise their hand for that office? It can't be one of the current officers. So
if someone will
it's gotta be
offer to
one of
sign,
you
I
three.
can help edit, which I do with Bonnie.
George?
I can help, I guess.
Okay,
I'm not sure what's
So,
entailed, but.
I nominate Ann Linsdow Hupner to be secretary pro tem, retroactive to the start of the meeting.
I'll second that.
So
Discussion?
does that mean I have to take notes?
No, Gina
Oh,
does the
yes.
notes, and then she'll send it out, and,
What was the first thing you
and-
said, the
and-
first sentence?
and I'll help you edit them,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Mhm. Did I second that?
I'd be happy
Yes.
to.
Yes.
Did it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay, thank you very much, Ann.
Thank you,
No problem.
Gina.
Good catch.
Yeah, thank you, Gina.
Yeah, really.
I would have just signed it. Okay, all right, now we're on to new business.
Okay.
So I'll make the motion that the board approve policy 517, internet usage, as presented.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Tom?
Hark back, 5 minutes, 25
What
minutes.
page are we
Would
on?
anybody like
We're on
me to-
page 39.
Anybody like me to repeat what I said?
No.
So what do other people want to say about the request?
I don't mind it going back to committee.
I just don't understand the harm of taking a simple policy and revisiting it.
You can use some wordsmithing, I'll tell you that.
What harm is there to do that? It doesn't cost anything. It can bring a level of protection to the library. I just don't,
I felt like we discussed it fully and we came to a consensus, and I don't see any point in redoing it. That's my feeling.
I feel like there's a portion that is vitally important that is missing.
You said that, and we talked about that at the last committee of the whole.
Okay. And I'll just restate it. If I bring it up this many times, it's gotta be really important. That's all. I'm done.
So Tom, I'm willing to listen. What is it that you think is missing in the current policy as written?
I think there needs to be wording in there on the amount of when an employee and how an employee uses the internet. I think it could be enhanced.
Do you have any
And
suggested wording?
I can bring up some suggested wording. I don't have it now.
And when you say you think it can be enhanced, do you want?
I want something, I think it needs to be a little more specific. It's very vague and it's not addressed specifically.
Are you saying like,
And there's a little bit of ambiguity.
Which is the part that you thought was ambiguous? I can't remember where it was.
Well, as I mentioned, I think there needs to be wording in there of an employee's use of the internet, and the employee's use of the internet, when they can use it for personal use, when it's appropriate to use for personal use.
I did look up in our personnel policy, and our work one says that, you know, we can use it on our lunch hour, our lunch break, or after hours.
Which is a little restrictive, but
Not for personal items.
I would favor having an incidental personal use statement somewhere in here.
Well, I
Which
feel
is-
it helps me because, I like to eat my lunch, read Dear Abby, do a puzzle, and, people walk in my office, they can see what's on my screen on the back, and I don't feel inhibited during, from 11:30 to 1:30, because it varies by time.
Or break,
Or any other time outside of that, I would feel, like if partner walks in and I'm doing a puzzle. But if it's 12:30, I feel I'm protected.
What kind of wording would you put in, George?
So what I've seen in other companies, past companies I've worked for, incidental personal use is permitted so long as it does not interfere with the employee's duties at work.
So no specific
No
before
time.
or after this,
No.
or length of time, but just performance is what matters. And if-
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
We pay people to get a job done, not to sit at a desk, at least in theory.
Okay, the motion is to, does anyone have anything else they want to add?
Do have a question,
Questions
a
for
point of
Tom?
order question. So we have a motion on the table to approve the policy as presented. We don't
So
have a
we'll vote on
motion
that,
to
and if
send
you-
it back.
If you don't want to, if you want it to go back, you should vote no. Does anyone else have anything else to say about it? Okay, we'll have to have a roll
Well,
call.
I guess that's my question. So let's say it goes back to committee, it doesn't change, because aren't the rules that we can't vote on the same policy twice by the same board? So I
Well, if
prefer,
it doesn't pass,
I would prefer to withdraw that motion, have a separate motion to go to committee. If that fails, then we'll do the other motion.
I'm sorry, I'm
Can
confused.
a motion be withdrawn?
Because.
Yes, I
Oh,
can withdraw.
okay.
I will withdraw my motion.
I thought it was my motion.
No,
it
sorry, it's your
wasn't.
motion.
Joe made
Second.
it.
We withdraw your motion too.
No, Joe would have to withdraw her motion.
Because I think
Okay.
we have a problem if it doesn't change.
I don't think there's any rule that if we reject it and send it back to policy committee, we have to bring it back.
No, but if I don't think you can vote on the exact same policy once it's failed to bring it back and then pass it.
I disagree. Do you think that's a Robert's rule?
I looked this up during the dark days, so that they couldn't keep bringing up the same policy for vote after it failed. And I prevented them from bringing it up for a vote because the board had already voted on it and it failed. It has to be substantially different.
I have a question. Would it satisfy the board if the statement that George put out is added to the policy? I don't know, Tom, would you be satisfied with that, incidental personal use, or do you want it to be for further
I'd like to
discussed?
have more time to look at it.
So if it fails, then we can just go ahead and vote on the other one.
If what fails?
So if that first motion is withdrawn, we make a motion for it to go back to committee. If that motion fails, then we vote on the other motion, and then we won't have the problem of voting twice on the
Okay,
virtually the
I'll
same.
withdraw the motion.
Okay, I'll move that policy 517, internet use, be returned to committee.
I'll second.
Discussion? Let's have a roll call.
Linsdale? What are we voting on?
So send
We're
this,
voting to send it back to be
Send it back
further
to
work done
committee,
for
okay, yes.
next committee of the whole.
Aye.
Well, it's too late for that one, but the one after probably.
I'm really confused, like,
Okay, come back to her.
Okay, Andrea Farcapesi, Trustee Caldwell moved to bring back policy 517 to the committee of the whole.
to the committee, where it will get
So
voted
that
on.
means at committee of the whole, we'll
Yeah.
discuss further wording.
Okay,
And since I'm the one doing the writing on this, what I will probably do is talk to Tom and have him give a suggestion, and then I'll put Ryan's suggestion, and we can discuss those two, or if anyone else has a suggestion, George had one, we can discuss the options at committee of the
okay,
whole.
I approve of that then.
So, aye.
Aye.
Farcapesi,
aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Getman,
Aye.
Caldwell,
Aye.
Sutton absent, Beckwith.
Nay.
Okay, ayes have it.
Okay. Next is tour.
All right, so Gina, you'll stay here while we do the tour for Cocos Cove in case someone comes in
Oh,
since
yes,
it's an
yes.
open meeting.
Yes, no problem.
But before, I'll just to kind of paint a picture before we go. I have some pictures of how busy it was today, because it's not going to be busy when we go in there, just to show you how vibrant this space has become. So what I asked the board for in the budget last year was $12,000 out of expendable trust, basically money that originally was donated for Cocos Cove anyway, and we hadn't really used any of that money to improve the space. And one of the things that not just me, but a lot of staff have noticed since my arrival is we have this phenomenal space for teens and this great space for tweens, but that kind of like that little guys on up, it wasn't optimal, and there were all kinds of problems. It was cramped. There wasn't a lot of interactive activity, less space to move around. So for a pretty small investment in the grand scheme of things, we've made huge improvements to the space. So let me just pass.
It's not toddler jail anymore.
Not toddler jail anymore, yeah. Yeah, George can attest because his family's he's getting a lot of use out of it.
Every
Yeah.
single space.
Yeah. So we pass these kind
We
of.
bow to you, George.
Yeah, let's pass around some of these. So. So I was just kind of set up the pictures. We can go down there. There'll probably be some families in there, but I think at this time it's 7:45. I think most kids are hopefully they're in bed sleeping. Probably not my kids, but
I'm gonna look for my purse here.
Spring break. They're not in good.
yeah, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. So
I'll keep an eye, keep an eye.
Gina, are you staying?
Yes,
here?
I'll keep an eye. I'm
Okay.
closing the door.
Okay, good. I'll leave my purse then.
Okay.
I don't entirely agree with you on it, but I'm one of those.
right. Oh, great! Thank you.
It's not like you picked up the phone and said, "Hi, John," when your boyfriend's name was Steve.
That'd be better.
Yeah, that happened to me. That's why I never say hi, so-and-so.
There were some people with the
It was a different, not my husband, a different Steve.
Okay, so
It's pre-color ID.
any other questions or comments on Cocos? Looks really great.
I just want to say, staff does a lot with a little, continuing to make something out of nothing.
Okay, so did we cover everything you wanted to cover on safety and security? And
I think so. I mean, what I'm going to do is formally put those action items into the real strategic plan. Although we keep referring to that document because that's kind of the progress report. Basically, the strategic plan is within that progress report. So yeah, that's the idea. I don't know if there are any additional questions or.
Any? Okay, things for next time?
We're talking next board meeting or next committee of the whole?
Well, if you want it on for Tuesday, you better be quick about it, because we have an agenda going already. It's pretty packed.
I have something to say
Yes.
about Tuesday. Because of time constraints, we originally had identified 3 policies for April, and 2 of them need more time, so we just have 1 policy next week, so it's going to be quick and dirty.
They do?
Yes.
Two need more time?
Just a little time.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so, I'm sorry,
So I'm putting them, those two that we were to
just a
do in
second, I have to
April
get my,
will go in May.
Sure, yeah, so we're.
which one is left?
That we're doing,
Yes,
4015 sponsorship.
okay. So I'll put those two for,
Correct, 4045
For May.
and 1007 are for May. And I may pick a third one for May, I don't know yet.
got it.
I'll
Okay,
know that next week.
then, anything else? I almost called you Bob.
Yeah.
Tom, do you have B and G
Do we have B&G?
for Tuesday?
I mean, in the context of the budget, but beyond that.
Okay,
I don't
nothing
have any
beyond that,
Major
okay.
issues.
Just a regular financial statements and budgeting.
And also I had, oh no, never mind, that was something else.
I have a building and grounds question. That area that's been taped off at the end of the sidewalk, what's going on there?
The idea is we're waiting for I'll let Kevin talk about more, but we're waiting for the weather to see if that's gonna.
The freeze and
yeah,
thaw cycle with
yeah.
the heaving of the
In
snow.
December, what happened was the blacktop heaved, so there was like an inch rise between that and the concrete steps, so we cordoned it off. The
So
ground's
people
still
don't
pretty-
trip on it? Is
right,
that the reason?
So you don't trip on it coming down the stairs. So we're waiting for the temperatures to rise to see if it's gonna fall back, to know exactly what to do. We don't wanna really cut it out now because it might fall back and cause the opposite problem, so we're really kind of waiting for the temperatures to warm. Historically, we would have been a lot warmer by now, but we've still been in cold temperatures, so the ground is still pretty cold, actually.
So that yellow tape is avoid lawsuit here.
Yes, it's foreseen.
Okay, anything else? How about, anyone want to speak in public forum? Okay, announcements, anyone have announcements? I have one thing, this is the ILA reporter that came. I'm a little behind, this is the February one, but it has an article on the 2017, new library buildings. One of them's near us, it's Indian Trails. And let's see, where is that? It looks very cool. Have you been there?
I have.
Is it really as cool as it looks in the?
Yeah, it's cool. And one of the great things about Indian Trails, and the director, Brian Shepard, talked about this, when they were planning the project, they wanted it to, like, you don't drive by, the picture, it's beautiful, it is, but when you drive by, you don't necessarily look to your left and think, well, that's a brand new library building. The taxpayer spent a bunch of money on that. I mean, it's nice, but it's not, it's like they did well with the budget that they had, which I think was kind of a good philosophy of looking at it when you're looking at a building project. Not that we have any plan anytime soon, but to be an impressive building, be to use the community without kind of going overboard, because we've all seen some of these public building projects, not so much libraries, but other buildings, where you think to yourself, like, my goodness, they spent a lot of taxpayer dollars on those buildings, and that why did they need to make it like that? And that building is super nice and really well designed, but doesn't feel like it was overkill.
If you don't know, Indian Trails is the public library in Wheeling. I did say that before. Also, there's an article in here about how public libraries serve patrons with autism. There's also another one on diversity of library staff. And one of the things I thought was so interesting in here is that we kind of think it's our problem in the way we hire, but in library schools, the 2 library schools in Illinois, they're 80% white students. So that it is more challenging than I really realized. And then there's another article in here about the River Forest Library that did a 1-day Maker Fest, which I thought was super cool. They talked about the 3D printers and all that other stuff. They don't own any of that, but they didn't spend a lot of money either, but they got local vendors to come in and do different maker things promoting their products, and it sounded like it was quite an interesting day. So anyway, if anyone's interested, I'll pass that around. You have any announcements? I had a couple others. SEI, you want to ask about that?
Oh, yes, I should have thought about that. The statement of economic interest, did everyone receive information about that to fill that out?
Yes.
I should have gone, I should go on and look, and I'll look, because that's public, so you can't hide if you haven't filled it out. So we'll take a look, and if
Should we report back to you when we finish it?
no, I mean, because we can just go to the website and see. So I'll take a look and make sure that everybody's up to speed on that. And typically, people get that and they do it immediately, so. Because if you don't, then we can all see.
Yeah.
So, and everyone understands what the statement of economic interest is, basically, okay?
I did mine.
Okay,
Did
yeah.
mine.
Yeah,
Great.
me too.
Thank you.
And then the other thing, this announcement on National Library Week is that usually the board provides treats for the staff on National Library Workers' Day. In the last couple of years, Sunimi and I did it, and I'm willing to be part of it again if anyone
What
else
day
can
is
help
the
me.
actual?
Is that the Tuesday of that week,
Tuesday
I
the
think?
10th.
The 10th, yeah.
Of April?
Uh-huh. Anybody want to help me?
I do.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
happy to contribute money.
Oh, yeah, that, I hope you will contribute money, everyone. I don't want to pay for it all. So Ann and I will work on that.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Will you let us know the contribution process, what,
Or just give it to you on the
Just-
side?
Yeah, we'll get the stuff and then we'll tell you what
Okay.
you owe. Yeah,
Got it.
usually it's not very much, $20
Okay.
or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
Is there anybody who doesn't want to participate?
Yeah, we should ask that.
Nobody, so yeah.
Okay,
Don't feel shy, no judging.
okay. Any other announcements? Anyone want to move to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I'll
I'll
second.
second it.
Hey, you know, we
I'm
got this
confused.
covered, Joe.
Okay, all those in favor, she seconded.
You get
All
to
those
gavel
in
the
favor
meeting
say aye.
closed. Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Thank you.
Thank you.